Carlos. Carlos is always up to date in the latest business developments, and he lighted us with the book publishing. I thought that it was really hard, but you proved that it's pretty easy, so glad you gave that speech. Thank you. Our next speaker is going to be Stefania, and the title of her speech is To Sell or Not to Sell Your Company. So please welcome Stefania.
All I want to do is get my company to $10 million in revenue. That way, I'll have people who pay attention who want to buy my company. Actually, I'm really aiming to get $1 million in EBITDA profitability, because I hear that really opens the universe of prospective companies that'll bid for my company. Are you crazy? What do you want to sell your company for? So many business owners believe that the only way to get value out of their business is in a sale transaction. There's another way. Build value every day that you can monetize at will. I call it get your cake and eat it too. Michael was a company that had $20 million in revenue. He was approaching the $1 million in EBITDA. He was beginning to think it was time to sell. You see, Michael spent quite a bit of time developing a product to solve a problem. A lot of patients go on Coumadin, which is a blood thinner. Coumadin is pretty powerful stuff. Too much of it, and you bleed to death. Too little of it, you clot. You die that way too. The trouble is, you've got to figure out what your blood level is all the time. For most people, this means lots of runs to the doctor in a very busy schedule, or with a mother who maybe has one child who has to have their blood tested and 3 others that don't. You can imagine what that problem looks like. Michael came up with the idea of being able to have a device that could be done by the patient. They prick their own finger, get the blood, and then end up with information that could be telephonically provided to his nurses at his office. This whole process was really working great. The business was basically exploding. Now he was stuck. He needed more cash than the bank would offer him, and certainly more cash than he could generate internally. It was time to figure out what next. And that's why Michael was thinking about selling. Fortunately, he met me. We had a conversation. And I said, Michael, there are some other options. And to his credit, he said, let's try it. Try it that we did. I helped Michael improve his valuation, optimize it. And then I introduced him to several venture capitalists. One venture capitalist offered him the $6 million of equity he wanted, plus $1 million for his angel investor to get liquefied, plus another $1 million for Michael. Get your cake and eat it too. There we were. Michael got to the altar and then couldn't get married. Despite the fact that these venture capitalists truly believed in Michael and his mission, Michael was uncomfortable. The venture capitalists went back to Michael 3 times to modify the transaction based on what Michael articulated was his concern. He couldn't do it. Maybe it was the unknowns of a partner, a venture capital partner. Maybe it was the fact that this company was now going to be fueled into a new realm where bigger competitors were going to be attacking it. Or maybe, just maybe, Michael was scared that he might not be able to achieve the future that he wanted, but was really out there. Problem was, Michael decided not to take the money. Instead, he sold his business to a publicly held company that wanted to get into that industry. And you know what happened? 6 months later, they fired him. Michael's patience lost. Michael lost. It didn't have to be that way. You as an entrepreneur have the opportunity to monetize your value every day. And then use that value as you see fit. That's the power of being an entrepreneur. That's the power of having your cake and eat it too. If you really care about your mission, if you really care about your customers, there's only one way to ensure it'll happen. And that's if you keep control of your ownership and your destiny. It's your choice, but as a business builder, we all would benefit if you grow your company.
Thank you, Stefania. Our next speaker is going to be Tanya. And Andrew, can you read the objectives?
Use stance, movement, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact to express your message and achieve your speech's purpose. And